like to call this meeting to order and review and approve the minutes of our meeting of September the 8th. I was not here, so.
I move that the minutes be approved as circulated.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain because I was not here. And all those not favorable, I guess we have none of those. I guess it's the minutes approved then. Thank you very much. Residents and citizens' participation. Do you live here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just here to just, let y'all know that, I try to help take care of the area, pick up the trash and stuff, that's all. I'm just here just to sit in and see what's happening. I'm not going to say anything, I'm just quiet and see what's going on.
Love to have you. Love to have you. Yeah.
'Cause I'm happy with what I'm doing, keeping up with the route, picking up stuff. And
Good.
a lot of them up here are a lot happier with me and stuff, and I finally got myself where I settled in, and everybody up here now is starting to work with me, so help me out. So I thought
Everything going fine here, is it?
Oh, can't ask for a better place.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah,
A happy customer.
yeah, I am.
Very fine. Well, we'll continue on. You can stay and join us. We're going to be doing some minutes, some meeting stuff that may not be of great interest to you. If not, you can leave at any time.
I just wanted to say, if I'm doing something, I'm not doing something right, I'll be glad to, but everybody up here seems like they're doing really well with the recycling, and letting Christine know that everything is going good up here, that I'm trying to work with them and help them with the recycling and stuff. And the recycling, and the only thing I'm worried about is the high-rise. The needles, the syringes are going into the box. They should have them separated. I don't put my hands in there because there's too many been throwing them in there. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Okay.
I was wondering if they had a bucket or something.
Anyway, they should be going in the trash.
Yeah, a lot of them are throwing them into the buckets.
Where were all these needles coming from?
I don't know. I have no clue. They're like sugar needles. They're not anything to do with drugs. It's just like sugar needles. If somebody's got sugar, they put them into a container. If we could hold them in there, because me and my son goes down and kind of rip up the boxes to keep everything cleaned up there. And that's the only thing that's pretty well.
Yeah, we can ask the SASH people to do a program down there.
Yeah, I thought there was a protocol on that.
There is, and they're supposed to be, they're not supposed to be putting them in garbage or.
But they're working there. I had some person down there that was working with me, and he's doing very well. He has a black car, but he works with the community. He's trying to work with the people to do that, and he's doing very well with that. And me and John are still keeping going down there and keeping that area cleaned up. And Bob and Dave are doing the same thing too, so I kind of help them out with it too. If something needs to be pulled out of there, I put it in my truck and take it to the high school and dump it into the bins up there, so it won't get overwhelmed.
Good helps.
But that's all I have to say. That's all.
Very nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Watch
Glad
out.
you could come and join us.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm glad to meet all of you.
Oh yeah, Bill Bedard. Nice to meet
Glad to
you.
meet you.
Miss Connolly.
Glad to meet you. Glad to meet you.
Janet Kramer.
Glad to meet you, Janet.
It'll be locked, but we'll meet often in Price Chopper, right?
You know the rest of you?
Good to see you, Lance. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you, Lance.
Yeah.
Looks good, Lance.
Yep.
Thank you. I'll keep it up.
Okay, very
Great.
good. On staff reports, property managers, we have some written reports that Chris has provided us, and the office has provided us. Does anybody have any areas that you want to?
No, I'm just curious on the public housing family self-sufficiency report. There was one client who was on the verge of home ownership and still working with the bank, and Wyndham Windsor Housing Trust on an acceptable financial package. By the end of last week, he was close to nailing down the particulars of that.
As far as I know, that's still,
So it's still in the works, but not
Not in a negative way.
Correct,
Yeah.
that's good.
No.
Again, Lucy's report is so,
It's fun, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
and so much information too. Just, it's nice having some of the little personal,
Yes, those are-
yeah.
Well, I'm really impressed with the last sentence. I currently have 38 participants with escrow balances ranging from $90 to over $3,000. So that with her assistance, they're really able to do some important savings.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I think the idea of getting a house, buying a house, that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can't wait for them to close so we can sort of make them a poster child.
Yeah,
We should crawl that.
That's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic.
Are we gonna be able to replace the FSS for the public housing?
Well, that's in the realm of good news. We just got our award for 2 positions for FSS. HUD has combined them into one program now.
Okay.
They're not separate.
Mhm.
But we did get renewal funding for 2 positions.
Good.
So, that is
Back to the drawing board for another.
another hire.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great.
The Resident Service Coordinators, SASH, does anybody have any other reports on the nice comments that we heard on the SASH?
Well, you read in Chelsea's report,
Mhm.
Resident Services, that Chelsea is now moved to be a property manager, and she will be handling Ledgewood Heights, Moorcourt, and the Ann Wilder Richards building. And this Thursday, Lorelei Morissette will start as our resident services coordinator. And Lorelei has 9 years of assistant property manager work with the Wyndham Windsor Housing Trust.
Oh, that's great.
So
Very good.
we're very excited about that. And under executive session, I will briefly bring you up to date on our other property manager position and where we are with that.
Mhm.
But that's great, and it's really terrific that Chelsea is moving up.
It's really
Well
nice.
deserved.
I was telling her about that telephone position, and, you know, because she was kind of worried that she only had a high school diploma. She doesn't have a car, so she couldn't get there. And it was nice to be able to tell her how if people are promoted from within.
Mhm.
They show initiative, they show they want to learn and do, and they're promoted right from within. And she was excited, and I think she would have been interested if she could get there.
Mm. We have a lot of applications for
Okay.
that, for the part-time job, yeah. And in SASH, I think the big news is that the program has been extended for 2 years. So that was really exciting to hear that. That will give them 5 years, and Vermont continues to be a shining success out of the other states.
Well, if the other programs are successful as the reports we get, we receive indicate Brattleboro stash is.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's foolish not to continue it.
Well, I think I told you in the major study that was done of SASH by RTI, it stands for. But they looked at Vermont and I think 2 or 3 other states. And Vermont, and in particular SASH, was the only program where they could show actual dollar savings. The other programs, you infer dollar savings because of certain indicators of wellness. But SASH actually demonstrated real dollar savings. And it was pretty impressive. This little program in Vermont.
Yeah.
So, we're all very proud of SASH and proud of Vermont.
And you should be.
Hope we can get to continue to lead the way, so.
Well, on this number 3, number right here, HCV Administrator Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Mhm.
Now, are we doing a lot with the voucher?
Well, David's report indicates that we have 144 vouchers.
Yep.
And had, I think, 6 or 7 people out searching, got the budget for next year and said, gotta stop it. And we also got which are very important for you to adopt, got the new bedroom, the new fair market rents,
Yep.
which, I don't know if you recall, but I think I mentioned this, and Bill, you weren't here. Last year, they took a real dive, and they really went down a lot.
Mhm.
And they went down so much that we and a bunch of other housing authorities chipped in, and we had certain markets in Vermont resurveyed, and Vermont State coordinated that. It was very helpful. And we got that survey right around when these came out, and the survey supported raising the fair market rents. So they've really taken a deep dive, and now they've gone way back up, so it's not
Well, these are supposed to be
clear what
reflective
HUD is up
of
to.
actual market rents, are they not?
Well, they're supposed to.
Yeah.
I tell you, my theory was that the ones that we got last year, HUD really was pushing RAD, the rental assistance demonstration program. And RAD had certain rents that were lower than our existing fair market rents. And it was very surprising that the fair market rents that came out for Windham County last year were within dollars of the RAD rent that was set by HUD multifamily. So I'm not sure how much science is there and how much is political will and some other things. And now RAD, which was really touted as the solution beyond all solutions, has really hit a wall of sorts. And they went and they sold it. They got over 100,000 units signed up for RAD, and they've had a minimal number of closings, of actual transfers. Because what happened is that the people that were selling it, the great salesmen, then the RAD applications went into the Special Application Center, and they went into multifamily, and they went into all these other places and started going, oh no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. Oh no, we don't mean that. And they have really, really been held up. I know a lot of housing authorities that, were in the first batch that got approved at the high level and still haven't closed over a year later.
I've noticed a number of times that if the sales force has no responsibility for administering the accounts that they sell, there are problems.
Well, the other thing is that, remember, the sales force was under Sean Donovan, who is gone. He's now over at the Office of Management and Budget. So he and his people are not even there anymore.
That's not encouraging.
But one indicator that told me that something was afoot was when we went to probably the key person in Washington on RAD over Red Clover and said, what should we do? Should we put it into the RAD program, or should we try to get project-based vouchers from Vermont State? And he said, don't go to RAD. Do not go. And he was the one that was going around the country selling it. And he said, we want Melrose to be successful. We want you to be able to go forward. Don't go to RAD. And I was like, he must know something. And sure enough, he was right. And he's gone too. Unfortunately, he was a really good guy.
So this year we're on a more even keel.
So this puts us back to actually where we were before they did this thing, and we're really hoping that they don't do this again. The really downside to the low rates that we had last year is that when we did the analysis, and I think it's in David's report, we had a very, very high number of participants that were paying over 50% of their adjusted gross income for rent, for their share of rent. Over 50, which is, we've never had it that high. Really, we've tried very hard to keep it 40, around 40% at the most. So that was an indication of just how hard people were hit. And we didn't have a lot of people who had to move. Landlords froze their rents, they didn't put in rent adjustments, they did a lot of things to keep participants, but participants still, when we do the math, their share had to go up.
Some
So,
of them couldn't do it.
well, most of them did. We actually looked and we got back the average number of vouchers that we do in a year. So we get back about 6 to 7 vouchers every year, and that's what we got back last year, which is an indication that people in the market, the landlords were making adjustments and the tenants, the participants were paying more. Everybody was making adjustments to keep people housed. So this brings us back to actually where we were before, and we really, really hope that we don't see another swing like this, because it takes a year under the system to implement this change, because you can only do it on the recertification, the annual recertification. So it takes a full year before, whichever way you want to look at it, before the good effect happens to residents and participants, or the bad effect. But either way, it's a whole year. I mean, it's not something that we've tried to do things more quickly, and HUD has always said no. You can't do it. So.
When would this take effect? When would this?
This is for January 1.
January 1.
These rents and these utility allowances, which are pretty much unchanged, we would ask you to approve these starting January 1 of 2015.
I move that we approve the proposed fiscal year 2015 Brattleboro Town fair market rents for all bedroom sizes and utility allowance.
And I will second that.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Would it be FY, is that fiscal year, or is it?
It's calendar year.
Calendar, I think we need to change that to calendar year.
Okay, I was just reading the top of this.
Yeah.
Calendar year.
It's calendar year.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you.
Great. And then the other action is we have these, what I would really call miscellaneous changes to the Section 8 administrative policy. We had them for your review last month. These are, in the world of HUD, they think that this is really going to lessen our workload. So we get to do inspections once every 2 years,
yeah. It will make a difference, but not enough to,
It's not a good one.
it doesn't mean we can reduce our staff size.
No, it doesn't.
Do you have to do it every 2 years? So if you have somebody that you know may,
We'll do
you
it
have
more often.
problems, do it more. You can do it if you
Oh,
want.
yeah,
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 okay.
yeah. Oh,
That's what I
yeah,
want.
yeah. And David's got people that he
Yeah.
will do annually. One of the things we try to do is make sure the inspection and the annual recert come at about the same time, because it's actually sort of better customer service if David can come in and say, and we need your paperwork, and, we'll be, do you have it, do you have any questions? And so we try to do them
Yeah.
together, and he
That's
will
good.
with folks that need that extra help with the.
Well, I would move that we approve the proposed changes to the Section 8 administration plan.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good. Another way of doing it. housing voucher, joint
We're
voucher
down here.
right here. But I was just wondering, is there anything on these three
Oh,
things right here?
well,
Maybe written reports,
questions of the written
report,
report.
the rents, we just talked about the rents, we
Yeah.
already done, I guess everything good. Okay, yeah. Very good, good on you.
So we've got the property redevelopment.
Yes, Forest Property Redevelopment Manager. That's the blue one.
Yeah.
Right up there.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, snow removal.
Snow removal, they're already talking about snow removal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to hear about that. You put all this out to bid.
Oh, yes, we do, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember the day when we used to do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I ran into Bobby in the store one day when it was snowing like crazy, and he was the happiest guy. He was so happy. Oh, thank you so much. Poor Bobby.
I'm just a little bit confused. What is this green physical needs assessment?
Oh, this is, we have to do a physical needs assessment every 5 years, which is a major capital analysis of all of our properties and systems. Look at everything.
We're talking about modifications to the property.
Well, it's an assessment of how they're holding up.
Okay,
Is really
yeah.
what it is. How are the structures? It's the big.
So it's the physical properties of,
Right.
properties of the property.
Yes, the physical properties of the property. And HUD has now, in its wisdom, decided that it will at some point put out what it calls a green component to the physical needs assessment, which will be focused on energy efficiency and the energy efficiency of the buildings and the systems and all of that. So Jack has started to work on the physical needs assessment, and with that, we're waiting. There's a bunch of data that we have to collect for the green part of it. And I can tell you that many of our buildings will do very badly.
I'm not surprised.
Well, look
Would
at
this
our
have-
bill.
Yeah, so,
Would this have any connection with the new windows we're supposed to get at St. Helens?
sure, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that would be one of the reasons that
That would
we
be one of
would,
the
you know, we would say, well,
reasons.
look, we're trying to improve the energy efficiency of this building. Here's something that we're doing.
so that might help us some.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Red Clover Commons,
Yes,
that little development over there.
little development.
I have to tell, somebody was teasing me that we started a trend in Brattleboro, was calling it Red Clover Commons, because now the new brewery that's opening, they're being Hermit's Thrush, the state bird. Yeah, you see, they like, what did you guys do? Now we're gonna have the flowers, we're going to have everything else around here. That's fun.
Well, I do want everybody to know that there is a rumor circulating at Melrose that in fact we're not doing Red Clover, and that everybody's going to stay at Melrose and nothing's going to happen. And that is not true. So let the record show that we absolutely are doing this project. And those that are saying we're not, are not right.
Just don't want to leave your place down there.
Well, yeah, I guess. So we have our final meeting with the Brattleboro Development, we hope, final meeting with the Brattleboro Development Review Board, October 20th. I think they start at 6, but I will keep you posted on when they begin and the agenda. With Housing Vermont, we have put in an application for the Affordable Housing Program, which is a program of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston. There are a lot of applications that went in, so we don't know how we'll fare. We were actually asked to apply by the Vermont Housing Conservation Board so that they didn't have to put so much of their money into our project. so that was fine. We have sent our materials back to the Special Application Center. And the really good news is that we have a draft, which I will share with you, of our appraisal for Melrose. And we just need to do a couple things with that, and then we will send that to the Special Application Center. And I met with our Washington attorney last week and said, could you really start bothering them about this? Because we really need to get it done. So he's going to push as much as he can.
We running pretty much right on target, though?
Well, we're on target except for the Special Application Center. We're really doing very, very well. We had a slight delay with the Brownsfield issue because of funding, but that's been cleared up, and Wyndham Regional has been just fantastic on that, as has the state. The state's been great about all of this. But, so everything we think, if we can, if we get our approval from the DRB, we should be able to have a groundbreaking in the frozen tundra in January.
In January.
Yeah, and
Right.
at least get a contractor ready to get in the ground as soon as they can.
Even if it's symbolic.
Right.
We're gonna do it.
And have it a ribbon cutting, don't have it somebody trying to pick a hole.
We can't cut, you cut the ribbon at the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Groundbreaking when you're trying to get into the
You need a shovel.
ground.
So we all get to wear hard hats and hold shovels.
Yeah. Big coats.
Yeah.
Bring along a few pails of dirt that
Yeah,
you symbolically go into.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll take some dirt now.
Okay, there we go.
Good idea.
Warn Bobby he may have to shovel.
Yeah, better warn him.
By the way, in our request for clever ideas to do what to do with Melrose, has anything very interesting come up?
Yes, yes. I think we reposted them all. And we ended up getting 96 or 98 at the end.
Yeah.
And we put them on a
Yeah,
continuum.
I think I saw a list, but
Yeah.
I didn't compare them.
Yeah, we put them on a list from sort of don't change it and rehouse
Yeah,
people all the way to tear it all down and use it for river mitigation. And there's a lot, really a lot. So-
Some very serious, some very interesting.
Yeah,
Anything strike you, right between the eyes?
Actually, I think that, I mean, what came out, and you were there for the meeting that we had was really, really very good, I thought.
It was excellent.
a terrific meeting.
A lot of information.
And the two big items that came out were that we need to do the historic preservation nomination study of Melrose, and we have to do a scientific study of the river, called the H&H study.
These are kind of both mandatory, aren't they?
Well, it was really clear that we can't go any further.
Without.
Without those
Any
two
step
things.
we're going to take,
Yeah.
we're going to be asked about one
Well,
or the other.
right.
Yeah.
So we really need to get those done. And the natural resources people were saying, well, without the H&H, and the historic preservation people, no, we need this. So it was really like, yes, they really need this. That's what we need to do. So that is the next step for us. And then once we've done that, then people will be able to talk to us more about what can really be done with the property. Again, it's really clear, and I think it was made clear in the meeting, that the problem is the bridges. The bridge over Route 9 and the bridge in George Miller Drive. And unless someone's got $3 million to pour into those two bridges, they will remain a serious constraint. And actually somebody raised the question, well, if you were to put in new bridges, what would be the downstream effect of that?
Of course.
You know, does that, maybe that's not, maybe that looking at the downstream impact, that's not
May not be the right thing to do.
right, because every pinch point stops the water.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it back up into Glen Park and into Melrose, but it does hold back the water a little bit. So,
We have a brand new beautiful bridge right up by our neighborhood.
well, I know, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful bridge, yeah.
And you're not gonna know what's gonna happen too with what they did upstream, which, what American traders did on the river itself. They put all those stones in and everything like that. So you don't know how that's gonna affect anything.
Right, right. I mean, there's just been, when you look at the whole watershed, it's huge, and you
Yeah.
just don't know all that's going on. I mean, even in Wilmington with stuff, anything that's been done in the watershed will have an impact on the water as it comes down and through town. So, I don't know, you were at the meetings?
Well, a couple of impressions I came away with was one, the historical people will not be as dogmatic as I had anticipated, which is very good. And secondly, it didn't come out in the general meeting, but I ended up at the table with all of financiers.
Oh,
And
how did that happen?
well, I went over and sat in the corner by myself, and they all ended up coming over too. So that was, I mean, it wasn't planned. And they kept muttering that the real getting ideas is good, but they've got to be good enough so you can sell them to the bank. Because there are, because it is a flood area, the rules of the game are changing very drastically. Not just for us, but for anybody who owns any property there. To purchase a piece of property in a flood area, you now need insurance. The bank is going to demand that you have flood insurance, and flood insurance premiums are doubling, tripling, quadrupling. And the premiums are going up slower for non-residential, quote unquote, but they're all going to arrive at the same spot. It's just going to take residential a year or two longer to get there. So it's
There's going to be a lot of changes. I've been
It's-
reading about things in Florida, like oceanfront high-rises, totally empty because they can't sell them.
Yeah. So there's
In order to buy them, you gotta have cash.
Yeah.
that's just another layer of complications that we're going to be facing.
Yeah.
But
I was very
I still
impressed
thought-
at how it involved, how everyone was so involved in finding a good solution for Melrose. It wasn't like, well, you know, we're up in Burlington or whatever, we don't care. I mean, everybody was very, very
Yeah,
invested
it's
in
really
this.
great.
Yeah.
And I don't believe there was any press of it in attendance, so they weren't
No.
playing to
Right.
an audience. They
Right.
were, I think it was a very good open meeting.
Oh, it's really, I wouldn't say impressed, but I was very, very
Please.
pleased and really
That was,
appreciated how much everybody really showed that they got it, that they cared about it, that I think without being hokey, it's fair to say that the state is really wants to do this right. I mean, they
Yeah.
really see this is a big challenge for Vermont, for a small state, and we, even though it is a big challenge, we have the opportunity to, as the governor would say, get it right. And I think what I heard was everybody saying we want to get it right. And that's historic preservation and,
Everybody.
you know,
Right.
and they're the folks sitting there going, it's historic, you know, we want to preserve as much, and they're sitting at the table with the natural resources people that are saying it's flood prone, we should take it down and let it be flooded. And so everybody really came with an attitude that was, let's see what we can really get accomplished, which was good.
It was a good meeting.
I didn't have the opportunity to go to that meeting, but I was thinking about that. I'm sure there was going to be some really good comments is going to come out of Melrose. And that's good. I'm glad to hear that there are a lot of people still thinking about, what are we going to do with this property, you know?
I think it's Jeanette's job to, because they took really good notes. I mean, all over the room. There were, can't think what you call those, the big board things. And I mean, I think it's Jeanette's job to go through them and put them all together.
Actually, the Wyndham Regional is doing it.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, good.
and for those that weren't there, the meeting was facilitated by Chris Campany, the director of Wyndham Regional, and Sue McMahon helped him, and they did a
You did an excellent job.
incredibly good job.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good.
just fantastic. And we do have a draft of the notes. We're working on them now because we want to get them out to everybody, but they did just a wonderful, wonderful job of facilitating and note-taking and really,
And knew when to ask the questions, when, if they didn't understand it, they realized that no one else is going to understand what somebody said technically. And I thought that was great, because they would, well, how would you explain that, or, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fantastic, for me especially, not knowing a lot of these.
yeah. And I thought Chris had a really wonderful way of trying to dig into some of the statements that were made without, and he would say, I'm not, you know, I'm not being, don't get me wrong, I'm not being antagonistic, you know, he'd say,
Right.
I'm not, you know, this isn't negative, this is information, and we need to know this. And so, really, really good. Big crowd, and they did a really wonderful job, I thought.
I was just thinking in parallel with SASH, it's really good that we're using all of the resources of this community rather than trying to do it ourselves.
Yes.
So that we're reaching out to the medical community through SASH and through the regional planning, and because we aren't an entity into ourselves. We have to be part of the whole community.
Yeah. It's not our job to duplicate anything, and we really do better when we use the resources that we have. So.
And I think too, after I was listening to the speeches from the, for Brooks House, and with how they were saying how Brattleboro was ahead and how they did this and how everyone should follow, and it's kind of like, this is a political statement usually, but as Brattleboro goes, the state goes. And I think we have that to keep up that high.
Well, there are a lot of people at the federal level that are watching what we do with Melrose and Red Clover and all of that, because they really want to figure out what to do when smaller housing authorities that don't have the resources of New Orleans and, you know, some Newark, New Jersey, whatever, when the smaller housing authorities get hit with natural disasters, because we're all built in the cheapest place. So, you know, map the hurricane, map Tornado Alley, map the floods. That's where you'll find a lot of public housing. And so there's a real desire to see, well, how do we help these smaller housing authorities that are resource constricted? So a lot of people are watching to see how's Vermont going to do this as a state? And I think, again, we can, I mean, just the meeting itself.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of the folks on the Housing Authority Insurance Board and told them about the meeting, and they said, "You had all those people there?" And they were like, "Really?" You know, I said, "Well, yeah, you know." And they said, "Oh, it's because it's a small state." I said, "No, it's not that. It's that everybody really cares about what happens here." And I said, "You know," I sort of wagged my finger, and said, "You know, Doug, you'll be happy when we figure this out, because you were hit by Hurricane Sandy, and you'll be really glad when we've got this figured out for you." So, yeah. Oh, we're getting there.
What's just a quick thing? What's funny with Hurricane Sandy, though, all these houses that were really hurt badly and that weren't bought out, they're selling like crazy. It's amazing. I don't get it.
Well, until they get their insurance bill in a couple of years.
Well, they got something through Congress that lowers their insurance rates down there for that.
Just for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
What they did was what Marshall was talking about, they passed an escalator for all the national flood insurance programs. And then the residential homeowners where Sandy hit in particular said, you know, you can't do this, my insurance is gonna go up 4 times. So they took the residential piece of that
Mhm.
and they slowed it down. So it's gonna escalate over probably 3 or 4 years, where if our property gets sold, because it's not single family, it's multiple dwelling, it goes right up,
Mhm.
and it will be a lot. So that's what they got through.
I don't think people know that or realize that down there.
Yeah, I think they do. They were pretty happy about it.
No, but I mean regular homeowners. I don't think
Oh.
they realize that because I read the papers down there.
Mhm.
People are, you know, I don't think they get it then.
Well,
Under new and other business, under the financial review, we have on the green sheet here is all of our accounts payable that housing authority has, that is spent. Any questions, you can look through there and chime in. Chris, are we all set now as far as the check signing? We got September, Janet, October, Chris, November, Marshall.
We have December.
December.
Who's that?
We have December.
Oh, you have December.
No.
No.
I have October.
Oh, yeah, oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing it now.
December is open, Bill.
Oh. I was wondering if somebody was gonna say that.
I'll just put your
I-
name
yes,
in
I
here.
was probably will be the one that'll be,
I won't even add a question mark. I'll just say Barney.
you guys stepped in and took mine when I was gonna have it, so I appreciate that. Yep, and you can just
All
put
right.
my name into.
We will do
December.
that. We will do
Does anybody have anything for the good of the order here, or
that. Just
old
to,
business or new business?
just to remind everybody that the annual meeting
Meeting's on the
will be held on the 17th at noon. We'll get like a luncheon thing. We'll really get it out.
At Melrose.
At Melrose,
Yeah, Melrose.
and Carrie Simon? Oh no, this is embarrassing, I just blanked on her name. Carrie, one of the principals of New Ground Creative, will be there to speak about the new name and the logo, and we're meeting with them this week to talk about the launch and organizing all of that. So,
I noticed we're using the new envelopes.
well, we ran out of envelopes, so it was like, just get them. And we'll give updates of Clover Commons and Melrose planning. So we should have a lot more information on both of those then. Hopefully have a good turnout, have a little lunch, and whatever new staff we have, we'll be able to introduce.
So the time you said was
Noon.
noon, I got
Yeah.
7 p.m.
Yeah, it's noon. We
Okay.
moved it, and I think that'll be good.
Will we have the bus available to take people from some of the other?
Oh, we can, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll make a note. That, and I do have one other thing that I forgot.
We're opening it up, it's,
We can give that as a first task for Lorelei. Figure out the bus. We have 2 new hearing officers. When we have grievances, they go to informal hearing, and then if they're not happy with that, this is for all programs, then they can go to a formal hearing. Pat View did some community searching, and Tom French and Ed Burke have agreed to be hearing officers for us. And I learned last week that it is a good thing for the Housing Authority to have the commissioners adopt or accept or approve the hearing officers. So I would ask if you're good with those 2. I think it's great.
For a year's term?
Yes, that would be, yeah.
So moved.
And I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you.
Two recognizable names, which doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I know, I think that I was
Yeah.
very appreciative that
Yeah.
they're doing this. Good,
Okay.
so I have a very
Would you like a motion
brief,
for an executive session to discuss personnel matters? So moved.
Okay. We are going to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are in executive session.